I'm Miranda, 34 and last Saturday. I walked into my sister Vanessa's 10th anniversary party, expecting a night of celebration. The ballroom glittered with champagne flutes, ice sculptures, and the hum of a string quartet. But what I saw in the reflection of a window changed everything. Vanessa, my only sister, hovered over my glass, slipping something into it with a secretive smile that sent a chill through me. My stomach knotted as memories of her past betrayals flooded back years of her stealing what was mine, always with that same calculated charm. Without a second thought, I switched my glass with her husband Nathan's. What I uncovered that night shattered the illusion of her perfect marriage and forced me to confront the truth about our family. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you love, where do you draw the line? Drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching from. Stick around, because the story of trust, deception, and redemption will leave you questioning everything. Growing up with Vanessa was like living in a constant tug of war. 3 years older, she turned everything into a competition, and I was always the loser. In high school, when I made the cheerleading squad after weeks of grueling tryouts, she convinced the captain I'd cheated, claiming I'd bribed a judge with baked goods. I was kicked off before my first practice. When I brought home my first boyfriend, a shy sophomore who loved comic books, Vanessa offered to tutor him in chemistry. 2 weeks later, they were dating, and he barely looked at me again. Our parents, Robert, a conflict resolution professor, and Susan, a retired nurse, called it sisterly rivalry, brushing it off as normal. But to me, it felt like a knife twisted with a smile. Each time, Vanessa would cry, apologize, promise to change, and I'd forgive her, desperate for the sister I wanted her to be. It never lasted. Her apologies were performances, her promises as fleeting as the tears she shed to sell them. When Vanessa met Nathan Calloway in her senior year of college, I thought she'd finally found her match. Nathan was kind, grounded, a software engineer with a quiet confidence that seemed immune to her games. He didn't fall for her charm the way others did. He saw her, or so I thought. When they married 3 years later, I stood as her maid of honor, believing she'd grown out of her manipulative ways. Over the next decade, our relationship thawed. We weren't close, but we managed civil family dinners and occasional shopping trips where she'd critique my taste in clothes with a laugh that didn't quite reach her eyes. I told myself the past was behind us, that marriage and maturity had softened her edges. I was wrong. Last month, a gold-embossed invitation arrived for their 10th anniversary party at the Bellevue, the city's most exclusive hotel. The timing was perfect. I'd just been promoted to senior account manager at my marketing firm, a hard-earned win after years of late nights and relentless pitches. But my personal life was a wreck. My 2-year relationship with Jackson had ended when he admitted he couldn't commit, leaving me raw and adrift. A glamorous party felt like the escape I needed a chance to dress up, sip champagne, and forget my heartbreak for a night. I spent hours choosing a navy dress that hugged my curves without screaming for attention, a small rebellion against Vanessa's inevitable judgment. I wanted to feel good, to walk into her world and hold my own. The Bellevue was a vision of opulence. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over tables draped in white linen, flanked by ice swans that glistened under the lights. A champagne fountain bubbled near a string quartet playing Vivaldi. About 60 guests mingled friends, colleagues, and family, all dressed to impress. My parents greeted me at the entrance. Dad, awkward in his rented tux, beamed with pride as he watched Vanessa glide through the crowd. Mom, ever the perfectionist, adjusted centerpieces when the staff wasn't looking. Miranda, you made it, Vanessa said, air-kissing my cheeks. Her Vera Wang gown shimmered. Probably worth more than my rent. Love the dress. Rental. Right, she whispered, her smile sharp. Good to see you too, I said, ignoring the jab. This is stunning. Well, some of us have successful marriages to celebrate, she replied. squeezing my arm too hard. "You'll find someone. Maybe stop being so picky." Before I could respond, Nathan appeared, his smile warm and genuine. "Miranda, you look fantastic." He hugged me, lingering a moment longer than necessary. "How's the new job? Challenging but exciting," I said, grateful for the shift in focus. "We need to catch up." "Save me a dance." He winked. Vanessa's face tightened. "Darling, the Andersons are here. We should greet them." She pulled him away, glancing back at me with narrowed eyes. The cocktail hour was a parade of familiar faces and subtle slights. Vanessa's college roommate, Bethany, praised my bravery for coming alone. Our cousin Tyler asked if I was still playing the field, his grin too wide. I kept my smile plastered on, sipping a single glass of wine, hyper-aware of Vanessa and Nathan. Something was off. They stood apart, even when side by side, their smiles for the crowd not matching the tension in their glances. Nathan kept looking my way, his expression unreadable. During their anniversary toast, they played the part tender glances, clinking glasses but in quieter moments. I caught whispered arguments, sharp and fleeting. At dinner, I was seated with distant relatives and Vanessa's co-workers, far from the family table. Nathan frowned at the arrangement but said nothing. As servers cleared plates, he approached. "Mind if I steal you for a moment? Someone I want you to meet, instead of an introduction." He led me to a quiet corner by the terrace doors. "I needed a break," he admitted. "Vanessa's been on edge for weeks planning this." "It's beautiful," I offered. "Yeah, well, appearances matter most to her," he said, bitterness creeping into his voice. "How have you really been?" "Miranda." We barely talk without her interrupting. His tone made me pause. "Is everything okay?" "This is a weird conversation for your anniversary." He ran a hand through his hair. 10 years is a long time to keep up a facade. I thought marriage would change her. But he trailed off, glancing over my shoulder. "She's watching." I turned and saw Vanessa, champagne flute gripped tightly, her eyes burning with something dark. "I should get back," Nathan said, squeezing my hand. "Let's catch up soon. I miss someone normal to talk to." His words hung heavy as he walked away. Their first dance was a performance perfect until Nathan whispered something that made Vanessa's smile falter. When the song ended, she bolted to her friends, and he retreated to the bar. Curious, I lingered nearby, catching his conversation with the bartender. "Make it a double," he said, sliding his empty whiskey glass forward. "Rough night," the bartender asked. "Rough decade," Nathan muttered, then noticed me. "Miranda? Join me for a drink." I ordered sparkling water. Pacing myself, I said, "Smart," he replied, lowering his voice. "Can I confide something? Promise it won't get back to Vanessa." I nodded, intrigued. "This marriage is suffocating me. Has been for years. I stay for appearances, family expectations, our business. But I'm wondering if it's worth walking on eggshells." "Have you tried counseling?" I asked. 3 therapists. Vanessa charms them, then quits when they suggest she's part of the problem. You know how she is. "Why tell me this now? Because you grew up with her." "You might understand." He leaned closer. "Last month, I suggested separating. She lost it, then went calm and planned this party to remember why we fell in love." A tap on my shoulder interrupted us. Vanessa stood there, her smile brittle. What an intense conversation, sharing family stories. "Nathan." Her eyes flicked between us. "Just catching up," he said, draining his glass. "Your sister's refreshing." Her laugh was sharp, like shattering glass. "The Martins need you. Golf membership." She pulled him away, whispering harshly. When she glanced back, her hatred was unmistakable. I needed air. In the restroom, I processed Nathan's words. Had Vanessa's competitive streak turned into something darker in their marriage? The thought unsettled me. I touched up my lipstick, steeling myself, and returned to the ballroom. My champagne glass had been refilled, a chocolate-covered strawberry beside it on a napkin with my name in elegant script. A card read, "For my favorite sister. Love. V." The gesture felt out of place after her venom. As I reached for the glass, a reflection in the window stopped me cold. Vanessa stood behind me, watching. She didn't know I could see her. She glanced around, reached into her clutch, and dropped something into my glass. It dissolved instantly, her lips curving in a satisfied smile before she vanished into the crowd. My blood froze. What had she done? My mind raced to college, when her roommate fell ill before a coveted internship, letting Vanessa swoop in. I'd dismissed it as coincidence, but now, staring at my tainted glass, I knew better. Her rivalry hadn't faded, it had festered. I tilted the glass, catching a faint residue under the lights. Whatever she'd used was nearly invisible. My heart pounded. Confronting her publicly would cause a scene she'd spin against me. Confronting her privately felt risky. Ignoring it was dangerous. I needed evidence, and I needed to protect myself. A plan formed risky, but necessary. If I switched glasses, I could see what she'd intended without drinking it. But with who Nathan, it felt fitting. If her jealousy over his attention drove this, he deserved to know her true colors. I spotted him alone by the gift table, Vanessa distracted across the room. "Nathan," I called, approaching with my glass. "We should toast the happy couple." He looked surprised. "Another toast. Haven't we had enough speeches?" "Just us," I said, standing close. "To 10 more years." He shrugged, grabbing his whiskey tumbler. "Why not?" "Not sure I'll survive another decade." I angled my body to block the room's view. "Champagne's better for toasting than whiskey." Mind swapping. Before he could argue, I pressed my flute into his hand and took his tumbler. "To happiness," I said, "and to truth, whatever it reveals." He echoed, "To truth," and sipped the champagne. I pretended to drink, watching Vanessa over his shoulder. She smiled, thinking I'd taken the bait. "Everything okay?" Nathan asked, noticing my tension. "Perfect," I said. "Finish that champagne before Vanessa comes over." She seemed annoyed we were talking. He rolled his eyes, drained the glass, and said, 40 hands to shake tonight." I ditched the whiskey on a server's tray, unwilling to trust any unattended drink. Vanessa approached instantly. "Enjoying yourself?" Her voice was honey, her eyes searching for signs of her plan working. "Absolutely," I said. "Nathan's thoughtful company." Anger flashed across her face. "He's always too accommodating." "A weakness." "I wouldn't call kindness a weakness," I countered. Her smile turned predatory. "You seem steady. Champagne not to your liking." The confirmation chilled me. "Delicious," I said. Nathan thought so too when we swapped for the toast. Her smugness vanished, replaced by confusion, then alarm. "You what swapped drinks?" I repeated. "Is there a problem?" "You had no right," she hissed. "You don't understand what you've done." "I understand perfectly," I said. "The question is, does Nathan?" Her face paled as she spotted him across the room. "Talking to our parents. This isn't over," she warned, hurrying away. Over the next half hour, Nathan changed. His movements grew unsteady. His tie loosened as he complained of heat, mid-conversation with Dad. He lost his thought, laughing it off too loudly, on the dance floor. His moves were reckless, uninhibited. Vanessa hovered, trying to steer him toward the exit. "Darling, you're tired. We should go," she said. "Nonsense," he slurred. "Too loud. First time I'm having fun tonight." He twirled away, rejoining the crowd. I watched from a distance, my stomach twisting. Whatever she'd used wasn't deadly, but it was affecting him, amplified by the alcohol he'd had at the dessert table. Vanessa cornered me, her facade cracking. "What have you done?" she demanded. "I didn't do anything." I said, "I avoided drinking what you spiked. Nathan wasn't so lucky." You saw nothing, she insisted. I saw everything in the window's reflection. Her eyes hardened. It was a mild sedative to help you relax. You've been tense since Jackson dumped you. The mention of my ex stung, but I held firm. A sedative without consent is assault, worse with alcohol. Don't be dramatic, she scoffed. I was helping. You saw Nathan talking to me and got jealous. I said, your jealousy is pathological. He's my husband. She spat. You were hanging on his every word. Those sad, lonely eyes. Did you think I wouldn't notice? You think I'm after Nathan? He's my brother-in-law. Men are easily swayed by attention, even from sisters. A crash interrupted us. Nathan had stumbled into the gift table, packages tumbling. His slurred apologies grew chaotic as he tried to fix it. This is your fault, Vanessa hissed, rushing to him. The party unraveled. Guests whispered, assuming Nathan was drunk. Vanessa guided him to a chair, whispering fiercely while smiling for the crowd. Just need water, he announced, words slurring. Feeling weird. Dad approached, concerned. Everything okay? Son. Nathan swayed, trying to stand. Rooms spinning, wasn't drinking much. He looked at me, confused. Miranda, when did you get a twin? Guests laughed nervously. Vanessa's face flushed. Darling, let's go, she urged. Nathan shook his head. Don't want to go home with you. Always watching, controlling. His voice rose, drawing eyes. 10 years pretending. I'm tired. Vanessa's mortification was palpable. He lurched toward the bathroom, crashing into a waiter, sending champagne flutes shattering. Is he having a stroke? Someone gasped. Mom, her nursing instincts kicking in, rushed over. Nathan, what day is it? His response was gibberish. Has he taken anything she asked Vanessa, who shook her head, her eyes flicking to me. We should call an ambulance, Mom said. No, Vanessa snapped. He's just drunk. This is already a scene, Dad said. The hotel manager called emergency services, and Nathan was moved to a private conference room. My parents and I followed, Vanessa trailing behind. In the room, away from prying eyes, Vanessa turned on me. This is your fault. You switched the glasses. What glasses, Mom asked. Tell them what you put in my champagne, I said. You did what Dad boomed. Vanessa's composure shattered. It was a mild sedative. She's been stressed. I thought it'd help her relax. You drugged your sister, Mom whispered, horrified, and I switched our glasses. I admitted. I saw her in the reflection. I wasn't drinking it, so I gave it to Nathan. You used him as a guinea pig Dad demanded. I needed proof, I said. He deserved to know what she's capable of. Nathan, slumped against the wall, looked at Vanessa. You drugged her drink while you were confiding in her, looking at her like you used to look at me, Vanessa said, voice breaking. She's my sister-in-law, he mumbled. Just talking. It's never just talking with her. She insisted. She wants what's mine. Paramedics arrived, assessing Nathan. Any substances besides alcohol when asked? He may have ingested a sedative. I said, mixed with alcohol. The paramedic's face hardened. What kind? All eyes turned to Vanessa. Ativan, she admitted. 1 pill, prescribed for my anxiety. Benzodiazepines and alcohol can be life-threatening, the paramedic said. We're taking him to the hospital. Will he be okay? Mom asked. Likely, but we need to monitor for respiratory depression. As they prepared to move Nathan, he grabbed my hand. Thank you for seeing the truth. I squeezed back, guilt and relief mixing. In the hospital waiting room, under harsh fluorescent lights, my parents reeled, both of you. Mom said, my own daughters. I didn't drug anyone. I said, but you gave it to Nathan, Dad countered. You could have poured it out and let her deny it. I said, I needed proof. At what cost? Mom's voice cracked. I didn't know it was Ativan. I admitted. I thought it was something to embarrass me. A doctor approached. Nathan's stable. Fluids and monitoring. The dose wasn't high, but benzodiazepines and alcohol are serious. When can he go home? Mom asked. Tomorrow, after observation. We're reporting this as suspected intentional drugging. Vanessa emerged, makeup streaked, dress wrinkled. He's resting, she said. They gave him something to counteract it. What were you thinking Mom asked? Vanessa collapsed into a chair. I saw him with Miranda, whispering, looking at her with ease. It triggered something. So you drugged her. Dad's incredulity echoed. It was supposed to make her loopy. Embarrass her, Vanessa said, not harm her. You think I'm perfect, I said, stunned. Everyone sees you that way. She spat. Poor, sweet Miranda. Always the victim of her mean sister. Because you keep doing this, I said, like with your roommate's internship. Her face paled. That was food poisoning. Was it? I challenged. A police officer took our statements. I told the truth, watching Vanessa shrink as he noted her admission. Will charges be filed? I asked. Depends on Mr. Calloway and other factors, he said. It's a serious offense. Nathan asked for me alone, in his room. He looked fragile, monitors beeping. Some party. He rasped. I'm so sorry. I said, I didn't mean for this. You exposed the truth. He said, worth a night here. The police mentioned charges. He sighed. This isn't the first time. Not drugging, but control. Jealousy, manipulation. 2 years ago, I started documenting recordings, journals. My therapist said I wasn't imagining it. Emotional abuse. The term hit hard. Why stay? Fear of failure. Humiliation. Our finances are tied up. Part of me loves who I thought she was. But tonight changes everything. You're not pressing charges, no. A legal battle would destroy us both, but I'm separating immediately. I'll need allies who know what she's capable of. Of course, I said. Thank you for acting, he said, squeezing my hand. Back in the waiting room, Vanessa sat alone. My parents off for coffee. How is he, she asked, reconsidering his marriage. I said, he's leaving you. Her face crumpled. He can't. We're partners in everything. You should have thought of that before drugging me. I didn't mean for this. She sobbed. You never do. I said, but you keep hurting people. My parents returned, and silence fell. A week later, Dad called us to a family meeting. The dining room, usually for holidays, felt heavy. Vanessa sat, eyes downcast, no longer the polished woman I knew. Where's Nathan? I asked. Not coming, Dad said. Family only, he began, voice stern. I've mediated conflicts for decades, but never imagined this with my daughters. Vanessa spoke softly. I don't have a good explanation. I've always fought for attention, success, love. Nothing came easy like it did for Miranda. When Nathan confided in her, I felt replaced. So you drugged her? Dad asked. I wanted her to stop being perfect, she said. The pill was supposed to make her silly, not hurt her. Intent doesn't change it. Mom said. Vanessa admitted to therapy and a possible borderline personality disorder diagnosis. It explains my instability, fear of abandonment, she said. But it doesn't excuse it. Dad said. She looked at me. What I did was unforgivable. I've spent my life resenting you, trying to take what's yours. I'm sorry. Her sincerity was new, but I was cautious. I need more than words. I said, this wasn't petty. You harmed Nathan. He's moved out, she said, filing for separation. Can you blame him? Mom asked. No, Vanessa admitted. I destroyed his trust. Hours passed, peeling back years of dysfunction. My parents admitted enabling her, dismissing her actions as rivalry. Where do we go from here? I asked. That depends on us, Dad said. Vanessa looked at me. I'd like to rebuild, if you're willing. Her vulnerability was real. I can't pretend this didn't happen. I said, but I'm open to family therapy. Relief washed over her. Thank you. She later confided Nathan had filed for divorce, citing emotional abuse and the drugging. I'm not contesting, she said. He deserves freedom. Driving home, I reflected. One impulsive act had exposed painful truths. Forcing change. Nathan had moved out, sounding stronger when we spoke. I'm making my own choices, he said, terrifying and exhilarating. I understood. Setting boundaries with Vanessa felt like reclaiming myself. 6 months later, I met Vanessa at a downtown cafe. She wore jeans, no makeup, her armor gone. Thank you for coming, she said. I wasn't sure you would. Family therapy's one thing. I said, this is different. She nodded. My therapist emphasizes truth, even when it's hard. Therapy had softened her edges. How are you? I asked. Some days are better, she said. The diagnosis borderline personality disorder explains my instability. I'm in dialectical behavior therapy, on medication, journaling. It's hard. The divorce. Finalized last month. Nathan was fair. We sold the house, split assets. Do you talk only through lawyers? He's seeing someone new. I know. I said, we have coffee sometimes. She nodded. No jealousy. Good. He deserves happiness. You're dating, she asked. Daniel, a principal, emotionally available, no games. That's great, she said, sincere. She admitted to the night's motivations black and white thinking, seeing me as a threat. I felt I wasn't enough, she said. I tried to fill that by taking from others. I reached across, not touching, but closing the gap. You're doing the work. That matters. I may never deserve forgiveness, she said. It's not about deserving. I said, it's about my peace. I'm working on it. She shared her plan to move to Seattle for a job, a fresh start. I'm not running, she said. I'm trying to heal. It might be good, I said. A chance to define yourself. We hugged briefly, a small step. Driving home, I reflected on the chain reaction one terrible choice had shattered illusions. Forcing honesty. Nathan was free. My parents confronted their enabling. Vanessa was healing, and I'd found my voice. The truth had broken us open, but it offered real healing. Family is complex. It can be woven from love, hurt, and obligation. Forgiveness may come, not erasing pain, but moving forward without resentment. I'm open to that, one day at a time. If someone in your family betrayed you, how did you navigate it? Share your story in the comments, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear that boundaries are vital for healing. Thank you for listening. Your worth isn't defined by those who hurt you.